Mr. Sayers here now. He made good time getting here. As per usual, I'd like everyone to stand for 1 minute to pray for peace, unity in the community. Thank you. Thank you. We are now in session. First item is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The only item on this special meeting is the employment of legal counsel regarding the joint petition for removal. Mr. Clark?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I move that with respect to any contracts for legal services that may be approved by the Board of Supervisors at this meeting, that the county adopt by reference the Virginia Public Procurement Act, which exempts legal services from competition, as the county's procurement policy for entering into such contracts, and that the Virginia Public Procurement Act supersede any prior county policies with respect to such contracts.
Second.
We have a roll call, please.
Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Ms. Glavis? Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
Mr. Sayer?
Aye.
Mr. Fox?
Aye. It passes.
Here for a motion. I move that the county employ the county attorney, James Cornwell, to represent RGA Fox with respect to the petition for removal.
Second.
Mr. Chairman, I'm hereby to disclose with respect to the employment of attorneys to represent me that I have a personal interest in and will benefit from the transaction because the purpose of such employment is to represent me. I hereby disclose my personal interest and have disqualified myself from voting and acting in any way on behalf of the county with respect to this transition.
Ms. Vance, we have a roll call.
Who did the second? I couldn't hear.
I recorded Ms. Glavis as doing the second.
Yes.
Mr. Fox?
Abstain.
Mr. Sayer?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
Ms. Glavis? Aye. Mr. Carter?
Aye. Mr. Chairman, I move that the county employ the county attorney, James Cornwell, to represent Thomas H. Sayer with respect to the petition for removal.
Is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, I hereby disclose with respect to employment of attorneys representing me that I have a personal interest in and will benefit from the transaction because the purpose of such employment is to represent me. I hereby disclose my personal interest and have disqualified myself from voting and acting in any way on behalf of the county with respect to the transaction.
Do we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Ms. Glavis? Aye. Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
Mr. Sayer?
Abstain.
Mr. Fox?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the county employ the county attorney, James Cornwell, to represent Daniel J. Murray Jr. with respect to the petition for removal.
Second. I hereby disclose with respect to the employment of attorneys to represent me that I have a personal interest in and will benefit from the transaction because the purpose of such employment is to represent me. I hereby disclose my personal interest and have disqualified myself from voting and acting in any way on behalf of the county with respect to this transaction.
Mr. Fox?
Aye.
Mr. Sayer?
Aye.
Mr. Murray?
Abstain.
Ms. Glavis? Aye. Mr. Carter?
Aye. Mr. Chairman, I move that the county employ the county attorney, James Cornwell, to represent London Glavis with respect to the petition for removal.
Mr. Fox has seconded. Roll call, please.
No.
I need to
Go
disclose.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I hereby disclose with respect to the employment of attorneys to represent me that I have a personal interest in and will benefit from the transaction because the purpose of such employment is to represent me. I hereby disclose my personal interest and have disqualified myself from voting and acting in any way on behalf of the county with respect to this transaction.
Do we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Carter?
Aye.
Ms. Gladys?
I abstain.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
Mr. Sayer?
Aye.
Mr. Fox?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the county employ the county attorney and James Cornwell to represent Tony F. Carter with respect to the petition for removal.
Second.
Mr. Chairman, I hereby disclose with respect to the employment of attorneys to represent me that I have a personal interest in and will benefit from the transaction because the purpose of such employment is to represent me. I hereby disclose my personal interest and have disqualified myself from voting and acting in any way on behalf of the county with respect to this transaction.
Mr. Fox?
Aye.
Mr. Sayer?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
Ms. Gladys?
Aye.
Mr. Carter?
Abstain.
At this point, we have concluded.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a quick statement on that. First, I'd like to thank the citizens and friends throughout the county and state who have reached out to me and my family with continuous support and a refreshing understanding of the events that have transpired over the last 3 years of my freshman term, and who acknowledged the proactive, positive role I played in exposing the corruption. I do not diminish the efforts others have put in unearthing this now notorious tale of deception and greed, and I also extend my thanks to them and also those in law enforcement who were doing their job. I don't know where my opponent was, but I and a few others were in the trenches before any solid evidence had been produced of this extreme breach of EDA and law enforcement trust. Unfortunately, hindsight bias can be used by some people after the facts of a situation has been exposed to their own advantage. I was in this battle over 2 years ago and have the court and public records to prove it. It's been an uphill battle and I've fought through the doubters. I've never claimed to have made a motion in open session to conduct a forensic audit. To do so before criminal charges are placed would have told the people who were subsequently arrested that we were on to them. I did at the time absolutely support and encourage that a forensic audit be performed, and such audit was performed, ultimately resulting in arrests. I testified against Jennifer McDonald in a criminal trial before the EDA corruption was exposed. Jennifer McDonald unsuccessfully filed a lawsuit of $600,000 for defamation against me. My record as a Board of Supervisor will continue to remain clean. As a supervisor, I fought the good fight, unlike my opponent who's only recently appeared at board meetings and has never cast a vote in an election in his entire life.
Mr. Sayer.
Point of order. Point of order. This is
There will be no yelling out of this. We will have decorum, Mr. Sayer. We are now in a political part of this, and I suggest you wrap up where you're at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
point of order. Will the citizens be able to speak?
Well, if I have to bang the gavel one more time, I will ask the sheriff to escort you out. Calling out from within.
Point of order is in
The board will not tolerate personal attacks on anyone or any other participants in the proceedings.
Point of order, sir, is in
Move to
Robert's order.
We are adjourned.
What? Point of order.
And you wonder why you're recalled. You wonder why you're recalled.
You know it's illegal to campaign from your seat, sir? It's
Yeah.
illegal to campaign from your seat.
You just gave us a lot to use on Monday.
Every one of you.
Yep, y'all gonna be gone. Kiss your seats goodbye.
My God.
How soon will that be posted online?
It's live. It's live, y'all.
Run.
Thank you, Chris.
Silver monkey.